So this might blow your mind. Not going to blow my mind. I've been saying this forever because Ukraine is the most corrupt nation in Europe. Now, they used to say this all the time in Western press, and this was from February 2015. Ukraine is the most corrupt nation in Europe. It's corrupt, but they're trying.
That's the official line of Ukraine I've heard over and over again.
While the conflict in Russia heats up in the east, life for most Ukrainians is marred by corruption, so endemic that the hospitals appear to be infected.
What?
Can anyone clean the country up? So this is from 2022. The most corrupt nation in Europe is earning millions every day due to the Ukraine war. What? Hey, come on. Say something bad about Russia. This is from Seymour Hersh, April 12th. Trading with the enemy. Amid rampant corruption in Kiev and the U.S. troops gather in the Ukrainian border, does the Biden administration have an endgame to the conflict? The Ukrainian government, headed by Volodymyr Zelensky, has been using American taxpayers' funds to pay dearly for the vitally needed diesel fuel that is keeping the Ukrainian army on the move in its war with Russia. Okay. It is unknown how much the Zelensky government is paying per gallon for the fuel, but the Pentagon was paying $400 per gallon to transport gasoline from a port in Pakistan.
They should go electric. That's a lot.
Yeah. They would do it via truck or parachute, and they would do it into Afghanistan during the decades-long American war there. So when we were in Afghanistan, we spent a couple trillion. It was $400 per gallon then. Okay. What also is unknown is that Zelensky has been buying the fuel from Russia.
That like blows my mind. I don't understand how that.
The country with which it and Washington are at war, and the Ukrainian president and many in his entourage have been skimming untold millions from the American dollars earmarked for diesel fuel payments.
I assume that they probably were doing that. But the thing of buying it from Russia is really throwing me for a loop.
So Putin gives Ukraine a discount?
So
that's cool.
Yeah, it's very cool of them considering they're at war.
Oh, wait, he's doing this so he can fuck us.
Is that what it is?
You tell me.
So is it also he's like, I'm really fighting America and not Ukraine, so I'll keep it going because I'm not getting hurt and you are getting hurt by it? I don't understand it.
I don't understand it. Why would Russia want to sell it to Ukraine? One estimate by analysts from the Central Intelligence Agency put the embezzled funds at $400 million just last year. At least.
Well, now out of 100 and whatever billion,
yeah,
is that probably better than our embezzlement here?
That's probably right. Another expert compared the level of corruption in Kiev as approaching that of the Afghan war, although there will be no professional audit reports emerging from the Ukraine. I like how he called it the Ukraine. Do you think Zelensky, I bet he even sold Sean Penn's Oscar. I bet you. Zelensky's been buying discount diesel from Russians, one knowledgeable American intelligence official told me. And who's paying for the gas and oil? We are. Putin and his oligarchs are making millions on it. Really? Many government ministries in Kiev have been literally competing, I was told, to set up front companies for export contracts for weapons and ammunitions with private arms dealers around the world, all of which provide kickbacks.
Oh, is that why only 30% gets there? Because the other 70% of that?
Of course.
Yeah.
Only 30% of the weapons we send to Ukraine makes it to the battlefield. The rest of it goes around the rest of the world to terrorists and what have you. The issue of corruption was directly raised with Zelensky in a meeting last January in Kiev with CIA Director William Burns. His message to the Ukrainian president, the CIA's message to the Ukrainian president was, I was told by an intelligence officer with direct knowledge of the meeting was out of a 1950s mob movie. What was it? The senior generals and government officials in Kiev were angry at what they saw as Zelensky's greed. So the CIA director told Zelensky, because that Zelensky was taking a larger share of his skim money than was going to the generals.
You got to spread it around a little bit, Volodymyr.
Burns also presented Zelensky with a list of 35 generals and senior officials whose corruption was known to the CIA and others in the American government. So Burns is telling Zelensky they're all skimming. And what does Zelensky do? Well, he responded to the American pressure 10 days later by publicly dismissing 10 of the most ostentatious officials on the list and doing little else. The 10 he got rid of were brazenly bragging about the money they had, driving around Kiev in their new Mercedes. It's like the Goodfellas when the guy shows up with the Cadillac and the furs. No, it's a gift from my mother. What? Get you stupid idiot! I told nobody spends any money. Nobody spends any of the Lufthansa money.
Can you imagine a war?
So that's what that is.
Yeah, like just the World War II or whatever. Like all the generals here driving around in like pimp mobiles.
Wouldn't that be something? Zelensky responded to the American pressure 10 days later by publicly dismissing 10 of the most ostentatious officials on the list and doing little else. The 10 he got rid of were brazenly bragging about the money they had, driving around in their freaking Mercedes. That doesn't sound like a 50s mob movie at all. That does sound like the Goodfellas, right? That was 1990 something.
Yeah, I guess it took place in the 60s, but
yeah, that's right. I guess you're right. But the mob movies were made in the 80s and 90s.
He's not sharing enough with the generals.
So there you go. So there's your Zelensky, corrupt to the teeth. Everybody, all his generals, they're all driving around in Kiev in Mercedes.
So is the war not real? This is what I don't get. Like,
the war is real. People are getting killed.
No. I mean, for Putin, is Putin like, here, have some, I'll sell you some diesel because we make money. Like, why would you sell diesel to Zelensky?
I don't know. We'd have to get somebody like Scott Ritter to answer this question. Why would Putin sell diesel to Zelensky?
Yeah, like, it's just like, is it, okay, if Russia's doing that well, does it in their interest to keep, like how we're trying to keep it going to supposedly cripple them? Is he trying to do that to us?
I don't know. Honest, this is a head scratcher.
It really threw me for a loop reading
what's not a head scratcher is that this war is a racket. Oh, who said that? That's right. All wars are a racket, and we've known that for about 100 years. When did Smedley Butler write that? In the 30s? He wrote that book, War is a Racket?
Yeah.
Well, and that's it. A war is a racket. That the real true causes and reasons for the war are only known to a handful of people. And who profit from it greatly. That's what this is. Zelensky knows the real reason for this war.
If you just think about Afghanistan for 2 seconds, it's now established how much money just got thrown away.
Pallets.
So what do you think, they got their act together since then? It's all the same scumbags working.
People. We're telling jokes in Nashville, Honolulu, Los Angeles, Northampton, Massachusetts, Syracuse, Cohoes, New York, Hartford, Connecticut, Baltimore, Chicago, Rosemont, San Diego, and more. Go to jimmydore.com to get a link for all those tickets. Plus, you can watch my new special, COVID Lies Are Funny.